Westmoreland.
Welcome everyone to the Health In Show, an affiliate program of Homeopathy World Community. I know everyone is very excited to learn about astrology and homeopathy. We're calling into Canada, and today I am calling in from New York City. So it's exciting that we have Amnon Nissan as our producer on Nissan Communications, who works the backdrop and makes things happen. We also have Dr. Deepak Sharma, who is on the chat today, calling in from New Delhi, India, of the Orbits Clinic. So we're going to really get started. I'm going to introduce to you Ksenia Stolova Sunny. Sunlight. She brings sunlight wherever she goes. And she's going to talk about the planets and the stars and the moon and the sun. And we're going to get started with a big hello to everyone out there, and thank you for joining us. Go out to Facebook and Twitter. Bring your friends in. Hello. Okay. Can everybody see Sunny today?
Outside.
Are you there?
Oh, hi. Hi, Debbie.
Okay, great. I just wanted to check to see if everybody's listening. And we're going to tell you that Sunny Ksenia, she is a nature-loving person and has always been interested in what is beyond the scene, seeking alternative natural healing methods and therapies, how they are connected and benefit our well-being. And she chooses to walk the walk, and we were introduced to each other via Homeopathy World Community. It's a great place for like-minded people in alternative medicine and homeopathy to meet each other and get acquainted. So we're going to have an incredible PowerPoint to go along with our show today. And I'm going to say hello to Dr. Sharma. I know that he's not calling in audio or video, but he is going to be there in the chat fielding questions and comments. So we're going to begin with our first slide, astrology and homeopathy. Today is March 4th, 2013, and we're going to add a special, on slide 2, a special tribute to Vaikuthanand Das Kaviraj, who everyone calls Kavi, who loves and knows him. Unfortunately, with great sadness, we have lost him to this earthly plane. He's up in heaven, I hope, planting lots of beautiful seeds. He was doing great deeds on the planet. And on Homeopathy World Community, there is a banner with a tribute where you can comment and a huge listing of links of all the marvelous writings he has done over the years. And on slide number 3, you're going to be able to meet up with Ksenia at sunlightastrology.com, sunlightwellbeing.com, and also the page on Homeopathy World Community is called astrology.homeopathy from Bitly. And do you want to be talking about your quotes today, Ksenia?
Okay, I actually, Debbie has been preparing for a long time, and let me start with the contribution in memory of Kavi, and I read not for a long time ago because I remember since May last year, but we all are connected. that's what is beyond the scene. What he planted between us as a homeopath, as a person, as a spiritual being, we all can feel it, and it's everywhere. We are connected, and can you imagine one single cell of our body actually is representing the universe, like everything. One single cell contains all our body needs, cure everything. And we must be smart enough to not confuse it with anything that will suppress it. That's why the alternatives have always been in acid. It's a natural medicine. It's the simplest way to go, supporting the immune system, our vital force to do the best for our bodies. And honestly, as you see, the slides are so many, would like also to say or start from my own experience. I experienced the miracle of homeopathic treatment in my early 30s, like I was 21, 22. And after that, being diagnosed with a disease that it's actually not very pleasant, like multiple sclerosis, for example, being treated with cortisone, prednisone, which is very bad thing to happen to the body. You wouldn't imagine the side effects. So to me, a real remedy, is not supposed to have side effects. So after that, I started being more aware of what nature gives us. I have always been interested in stars, and looking at the sky was that mysterious thing that happens in the night when the moon is shining, or you can see a tiny little left of new moon apart, or the full moon when everybody shares. So I had nightmares, or I couldn't sleep, or all these weird stories I've heard from my grandma for mysterious things that happened over the night. And I've been
She told you scary stories?
Yes, scary on full moon. Yes, she did. So
werewolves.
Well, yeah, and werewolves and everything. You know how many shows and movies and teenagers are watching, and it's nowadays the big Hollywood is producing, and that's what is out. But what I was going to say, at that time, I realized that actually sun and the moon are the two lights that we get, one during the day and the other over the night, that are really very meaningful. I was privileged, I would say, to be prescribed with my first constitutional remedy from Angela Needham. And I would like to say big thank you, because later, like a couple of years later, she became my teacher at the London College of Classical Homeopathy. And first, I experienced the miracles of homeopathic treatment. And of course, one single drop or a pill or a little watery solution of the remedy boosts the vital force as a holistic
Are you there? Yeah.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, as we know, homeopathy is looking at the person like as a holistic, whole body, mind, spirit, being, as the same astrology does. There are many different kinds of astrology. We can go nowadays on the internet and actually find out lots of information. But in my presentation today, as a homeopath, I would like to say that astrology has been helping me when I take the case. The first interview has been always, it's the most important interview. You ask all the questions. When I started my homeopathic practice in 1999, back in Sofia, Bulgaria, sometimes it used to take me over 2.5 hours. So long time, right? I spent even close to 3 hours sometimes, because at that time I was a speech therapist and mainly working with stammering and stuttering children, which was a project I was developing at that time as a speech therapist. And mainly these children they were actually redirected to a neurologist or a psychiatrist, psychology, just for different therapies. Some of them were prescribed with drugs to calm down, because actually the reason why it appears is still not clear. Usually it happens very quickly, like it's a situation in which the child or the person is falling in a situation of severe fear. And especially stuttering is known to be appearing when we develop our speech, especially children, or the case I'm going to share with you of a 7-year-old girl who was a typical case of stramonium, and I'm going to talk about it later. But first, would like to tell how astrology benefit homeopathy and how they are connected. Holistic astrology benefits my work as a homeopath because it helps me to see using the planet's meaning and the conversation, the communication between the planets on the unique personal astrological chart, which is an entirely new person, for example, just coming to me for a homeopathic supervision and treatment. So it gives me a perspective to see deeper, looking at the connection of sun and the moon. These two, the closest, our star sun. Without sun, actually, there is no life on Earth. Hello?
Yes.
Debbie, hear me?
I hear you. I might have lost your video connection, but we do hear you. And I wanted to know if you want us to use any of the slides, just give the slides.
Yeah. Okay, I was going to say about slide number 1, but somebody sent me a message, so I think it actually made... are you still here?
Yes, I am here.
Senya, go ahead and below your picture, where you see your picture, click on the video camera. And,
okay.
And then click on it again. It's not starting. It's not starting the video. Okay.
It happened actually a couple of days ago. So should I try again, or I'm risking the computer to freeze? Because as I told you a couple of days ago, I had a problem. Hi. Okay, Debbie, let's start with slide. Actually, it appears to be slide number 3.
Slide number 3.
Yeah. Okay. It says at the time of our birth, actually, it's like a snapshot.
Slide 4. Slide 4 says, at the time of our birth, the planets, through their configurations, communications, and relationships, tell us something about how things were when we were born.
Yes, it's actually an amazing conversation. I'm speechless when I start even thinking about this. My first astrological chart I draw for that girl that came to me with these colorful pencils was so alive. And because at that time I was in a process of learning deeper the meaning of the stars, not the meaning that we can go and read in astronomy books or get from all over internet. We know how many different sites, and we actually find so much information. Sometimes I even get lost in that information. But this is how we get the impression that that person was born as a unique individual to bring its gifts to the world, to live in harmony and walk a body, mind, spirit journey, learning and sharing, because this is all about. And also, it's a matter of choice. Back to my situation in my early 30s, I was told I went to see an astrologer who was actually one of the very first homeopaths in Bulgaria, years ago. He made my astro wheel and started explaining how the stars, how it's supposed to be, and started talking about the future. But something happened, and he wasn't able to tell me anything further. And years later, I found out why. It's always a matter of personal choice. In any moment, any time, we are, we have so many choices to make. We can make different choices. You can make choice to do anything, and it's fantastic. But we can see actually in the personal astro chart how
I'm really glad to hear you say that it's not fated in the stars or the planets, that there's free will and that there is choice.
Absolutely.
And that is so important for the folks out there to know that it's not, your future is not plotted out for you.
No. And
your soul.
No, and also, okay, as I told you, I've been preparing so long time, and I'm very excited. And even when I was prescribed my first constitutional remedy, which was causticum. Causticum, yeah. If you go to the rubric in section mind, go to mouth, go to speech, stammering. And you see a couple of remedies in very, very big effect, like belladonna. Causticum is the second one. Mercurius and stramonium. My case of that girl was purely stramonium case. But what I'm going to emphasize about the fear, everything we apply to fear. And it's a huge rubric in section mind. We know about that. Mm-hmm. Different kind of fear. And fear is not a good friend. And nobody out there can tell you what is going to happen. Even when I was in my teenager, opening a newspaper and they say today for all Libras or Scorpios or whatever zodiac sign they're making a comment is going to have this and that. And I have always been kind of, how to say, rejecting this. I said, no, how could you tell me what is going to happen? But in this individual astro wheel, as a holistic astrologer, I can see if that person comes and says, listen, I have these problems, emotional and physical. Many people nowadays, I've had a couple cases of cancer, and it's all related to fear and controlling. And you try to control and block and stop, and then it will actually give you feedback right away. It will say, well, we cannot control, or fear is the worst control out there. I have one slide that says there is nothing out there to be put in order.
Do we want to go through any of these slides? Do you want me to just...
Yes, let me see. Is this... I'm actually still trying to click on and off under my picture, but you cannot see.
Do you want me to read some of them? Okay, so this one says, each planet points to special qualities and gifts within us. Yet of all the planets, the two most important are the lights, the sun, and the moon. You already mentioned that.
Yes,
and then it says, from where we stand here on Earth, the great shining sun by day and the reflecting moon at night are our constant companions. They have much to tell us as to where we have been and where we are headed. So that's the future.
Yes, thank you very much. I just want to tell something about this. As a star, and as a star that actually sustains life, light, and without sun, we know there is no life. And spring is coming up, and the sun is shining, and gives us lots of energy. And anybody out there, I'm just so grateful and thankful, Debbie, you want to quote this, do not forget, for all your job creating the homeopathy world community and connecting us. It's amazing. I'm in Canada, and colleagues, friends, people, fans, and everybody, friends of homeopathy, they're out there all over the world. It's fantastic. I just don't want to forget this. And because March is a special month as well, and it's a special celebration, March 1st, an ancient Bulgarian one, which is a symbol of coming spring, a symbol of energy that sun is bringing back to us to renew our cells, to renew our lives. And if we're smart enough, we can use some, and we know how many remedies there are from made from sunlight and the rainbow colors, and it's amazing how it works. And I also would like to mention how many people get allergy, and they get problems looking at the sun. And it's true. Sun is having lots of activity on the surface. If we go to NASA and all the other scientific...
You mean the solar flares?
Yes, I do. I do lots of radiation, and even Earth magnetic field is rising, and it's the time of transformation. Actually, this is what we saw in the Mayan prediction, like for the 2012 21st. It's not the end. It's just the end of not being awakened for these very obvious changes. And if we just...
Do you think the internet has a lot to do with it?
Well, I would like to see internet at its bright side. And also there are lots of things going on, yes, but I have one slide that says knowledge is power. And because
that's your ending slide.
Yeah, knowledge is power, but I would say it's all about education, educating people. It's me. When somebody comes to me for a homeopathic treatment, ends up like maybe 50% of my clients start studying homeopathy, and I'm really grateful, because I don't want to peer in people's eyes like mystical healer, or psychic, some kind of. Or
so you want it to be at the earth level, that people can reach out and actually utilize this information. It's not for an elite population.
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think you said it very like perfectly well. No, we are not, and it's actually what nature gives us. If we really live our lives without stress, in harmony, and have really relationships that we are really into relationships. Doesn't matter, we're colleagues, we are in the family relationship, or friendship. Doesn't matter what kind of relationship. We are always in related to the nature, to anything. We must respect this. We must respect anything the way we want us to be respected. Because we are so connected, and it's an energy, it's a frequency that we spread, and it's catching. And I remember since my teenage and my childhood, I was so frightened. I was so much running, hearing a lightning. I was kind of enjoying this, but at the same time so frightened. And as much fear we have, as much bad things we get. Like if we are frightened of something, let's say I'm in the classroom and I was frightened if I get examined because I wasn't prepared enough, and the teacher will ask me in front of the desk. And I used to say, why it happens all the time? I'm frightened and it happens. So all these kinds of questions I have had in my head, and trying to find answers. And also a couple of times I've been prescribed with antibiotics for flu or bronchitis. I had a couple of times in my youth. And I get the little paper, and read, and I said, well, it cures this, like 2 lines, side effects, like half of the page. And I say, no, it's not a remedy, but it's all been in my head. So what we can
it's in your head. Now, Dr. Todd Rowe, I think he attributes illness to something like humiliation as a really big factor. And I'm hearing you say that a lot of disorder is coming from fear base. So
yes.
Looking at fear.
Yes. Okay, looking at the fear, I would like to say that fear, and relate to the topic of the stuttering, that's how it usually unlocks the problem. Something happens. In my case, that girl was brought to me as a speech therapist. I was just graduating homeopathy, and her mom was very much worried, and she was 7-year-old, and she had been stammering very severely, like with spasms, like you start feeling uncomfortable when you see that girl trying to start talking. And her mom couldn't actually explain what happened, but the girl was out in the dark for a couple minutes and then entered the house with like screaming, like something scared her. And it was in her first 7 years cycle, which we can actually see represented through the Saturn cycles in our lives. Saturn is making the cycle every 7 years. So the first 7 years, every human being develops its physical body, is very important to have everything that requires, or I have a slide that says moon is our support system and environment. That's what the child and in first 7 years need. Lots of love and support system, like loving environment that is created. Also, moon represents the past experience that is unconscious. It's anything that scares us represents by moon, and we can see in different houses and in different signs, zodiac signs, how it shows us that there is something there telling us about a fear. And fear.
The moon is at night, and we think about things that are unseen in the dark, scary at night. So this is slide number 16. You had written, it is not only about the kind of environment we create around us and our support system that surrounds us today, but the moon represents our past, the particular history and social background out of which we grew.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I want to let you know that for the folks who are out there listening, we have a huge, complete slideshow, which I will put up onto Homeopathy World Community website. We're going to skip around today, and I'd like to get to this case and understand the child's chart and how you use the chart.
Okay, so let's go further. And I'll emphasize on fear a little bit.
So if you want to, we can look at any of the slides. Slide 16.
Yes.
I have a beautiful picture on slide 17 of the moon's phases.
Oh, yeah.
So we see that there is a cycle there.
Yes, and as we know, actually March, new moon is coming up on 11th. March 11th is a new moon. Yeah, and also another personal planet, which is Mercury, responsible for our communication and connections. That's what also I see in the chart as well, is retrograde, which means bringing up from our past, some pain, some unsolved, not transformative, or we need to transform some of our emotional pain. And also it's a great time for healing. It's a great time for cleansing as well.
Mercury?
This time, I mean, no.
When I hear Mercury, everybody says stay home. They say Mercury's retrograde, and it means like there's going to be an accident or something. Electricity is going to go out or something crazy.
Okay, yeah, we actually should go out. It's all about, as I say, knowledge, and we must know that planets. Every planet has its influence on human beings and on anything. I've used astrology, lunar calendar for gardening, as biodynamic, organic agriculture back in Bulgaria and in British Columbia a couple of years ago. So everything is influenced by the moon cycles, and it's all about understanding them, all about bring our fears and look at them. Just face the fear. What is this fear about? Okay, my moon is very Scorpio moon. It's the most frightening moon in the zodiac. Because
really?
Okay, I mean unconsciously, because it's afraid for everything, especially if it's a mom and anything bad could happen, moon brings up. And if starts worrying, brings the energy, it's a frequency, you spread it, it's like a field, energetic field goes out, and by the universal law of attraction, actually attracts similar energies. So that's how it happens. If
we don't want to feel like we're being overpowered by all of these planetary forces and the moon.
No, that's what I was going to say. That if we understand, we have to understand that as human beings, we are aware and we can use these influences. Let's say this is the time for new moon and we do not really feel like starting something new, or we feel we should listen to our inner voice. It's actually the true guide. This is what is telling us what to do. And Mercury retrograde doesn't mean bad things. It means that going back, it kind of brings the energy that it's a good time to review old project. Maybe if somebody asks me, should I start a new business now? Maybe I say, well, if you want a challenging, yeah, you can. And there are always possibilities. There are always challenges. And it's how we actually learn. Nothing to be afraid of. And people say, oh, these aspects like squares or conjunctions, they are telling us a problem is happening. No, that's not what's going on. The energy that comes through the square when the planets are in communication of 90 degrees, it's a square called in astrology, it gives you lots of energy and challenge. And at the same time, there is always a harmonious communication. Let's say you do not go to talk to somebody with a gun. I don't know if that metaphoric example is very good, but let me put in a short sentence. If we have the knowledge and are not frightened, we can use these influences and turn into a very good benefit. That's why if we realize that sometimes, that's why I emphasize on fear, which is one of the main activating moment of stammering, stuttering, and any time we worry could happen, stuttering especially.
I would really love to learn exactly. You know, you have this little 7-year-old who's coming for speech therapy because she has the physical manifestation of her fear in her speech defect of stuttering. So then you take the case, and Absolutely. Then how do you use the astrology to help you?
Okay. As I told, that girl came to me, was brought as a speech therapist. And I take the interview I needed as a speech therapist. And the mom already was redirected to a psychologist, I think, and psychiatric consultation. So, as I said, I was just graduated, and I have been using astrology as well. So I usually ask for the birth date, and I ask her for the exact time of birth if she knows, because that child actually, Debbie, what happened?
Nothing. I'm just saying to Amnon, if he wants to put slide 20, planetary influences, you have charts?
Yes, just a moment. Okay. Yes, can you open... Okay, let me see. I need to open.
We have 3 charts that she's going to have available for us. One is the planetary influences.
Okay, just a second. Debbie, the slide. Okay, yes. I just want to tell a little more about
Go ahead.
that girl. So, yeah, planetary influences. Did you find that slide?
Yes.
Okay, as I say, every planet has an influence and represents and relates to some organs on a physical level, even deeper. Because as we know, there are different levels of seeing that planet. Let's say, for example, sun, the star, the main star that actually tells us about who we are. It's our deeper self. It gives us the energy of the spirit. It gives us our vital tonics and relates to on a physical level to the heart and heart chakra, and also our ego. What we are learning, where we are going, as was shown on the slide above, is the future, if I can use this word, but the moon at the same time as representing the feminine principle, also in the person chart, individual unique chart, we see as the mother. So,
yes, this is slide number 19.
Okay, yes. And then next planet, Mercury, which is very responsible, and it's the communication skills we have. Let's say the person sometimes has difficulties to express himself, and I've noticed that even in teenagers and adults. I can see this in the chart because sun and moon are in conjunction, or it's a new moon. It's the darkest, if we have to use the metaphor. And I use that moment to talk to the person that came to me with homeopathic treatment and bring this up just to face it. And
I'm confused. I'm confused of what you're saying right now. You're saying, let me see if I got you correctly. The mother energy is related to speech and communication, or both parents?
No, probably there was something disconnected. No, I said the moon as a representative of the feminine principle and the unconscious, and unconscious leads us to fear.
Okay.
So, but next that I use as a helpful part, looking at the astrology personal chart, is Mercury, which is representing the person's communication skills and the way the person expresses himself out there. And sometimes might be a possibility if that fear appears in the first 7 years to be so severe, so make this event so strong in the person's or child. I'm going back to my case, in that child, whatsoever happened in that dark outside scared her to death, because she entered the house screaming like something very bad happened. And the whole family, a mother and a father, actually no, the father wasn't at home at that time, but grandparents, they went outside to look around and see what happened. Just search the house, and it was something that happened very suddenly. And if you go to that slide of stammering, which is, I believe, slide 32 or okay, let me see over here.
32. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I also have, Debbie, probably I should just post as a discussion that why people stammer.
Well, I think what I would really love to ask you is that, you know, if there was this child during her 7 years of something happened and she was extremely frightened, and all of the signs and symptoms to me would point to stramonium without using an astrology chart. So this is where I am confused, because I would probably, I've heard a number of stories where there's a great fright and something happens and we would know already. So how does the chart help you?
Oh, okay. Okay, the chart helped me because that girl had Uranus. Okay, the chart helped me and showed me, yes, the case was perfect stramonium. And because there was some difficulties during the delivery, which is also stramonium.
Okay.
Yeah, the chart helped me. I didn't actually, okay, the mother didn't say or didn't admit any other fears, just this frightening. I would even think for aconite first because it was sudden, which was Uranus, right? And she didn't bring the girl for homeopathic
treatment.
Yes, that's correct. She came to me as a speech therapist. And actually, first, I did find out, looking at the chart, that it was perfectly established, perfectly shown stramonium.
I don't understand how. I'm in the dark. I'm
okay.
lost.
Have to be okay, because first of all, her Uranus in first house was just that something suddenly happened, frightened her, because also her moon was in opposition of her sun, which means that is full moon at the same time.
Which so you really have to understand how to read and create a person's birth chart and know where they are in this whole set of
yes.
And I'm completely lost.
Okay, don't be. Okay, Debbie. I started with that first case to say that astrology at that moment actually was the first I found out about the stramonium prescription. And then I had a sequence interview with the mom, and she was convinced, do not bring her daughter to a psychiatric clinic to consult a psychiatrist, because it was, she started, then she actually told me that she started expressing that fear of dark, which was stramonium. And then actually I kind of educated her about the fear that was unlocked at that moment. So for that first case, astrology chart was before my homeopathic prescription and the full interview.
So you're saying it's the reason is the reason is that you started to do astrology first, and then you confirmed it with homeopathy?
Okay. Well, I made the chart because I was going to find out, because it was only the sudden fear and the sudden appearing of the stammering at that moment, right? So in that case, yes, I made, but as I said, I was also thinking for that sudden fear, just, we know aconite, everything happens suddenly. So I would have probably just given aconite right away. But looking at the chart, seeing the opposition of moon and sun, we are representing that sudden fear, and it's unconscious fear because that child is only 4.5 actually when it happened. So that's what I'm saying. I was clear with the stramonium, and then on our sequence interview, I talked to the mother and I explained to her what is homeopathy doing and showed her the chart at the same time. She actually was doing some numerology and she was open. So it was kind of confirming, and stramonium was the remedy. And that girl actually, in a week, became better. And we went from stramonium 30C to stramonium 1M. So that girl is still my one of my clients, I would say, because a month ago she contacted me for some gland swelling. So we are going to have in a couple of days, as I'm flying to Sofia in 2 days, on Thursday. So I'm going to see her, but she doesn't stammer. She stopped stammering in a month. Like,
okay, so Senya, this has been really fascinating. It seems like there's going to be an enormous amount of information to learn and really get into the details, as opposed to just skimming over the information. And I want to let you know we only have like 5 minutes. Our show went very, very quickly today. And we do have the charts available for everybody to take a look at. There are 3 types of charts that she went to great lengths to provide for us. We have the planetary influences, we have the table of the zodiac signs and the body correspondences and the significance of the houses. So all of that information is going to be available to you. And she's also done charts about stammering. So it's totally, to me, foreign language. I don't really understand any of the wheel, any of the colors. Even though, go ahead.
Let me actually suggest and recommend one movie. And the first sample chart is actually from that, I think, King George VI. It's a very popular movie about stammering. The name is The King's Speech.
The King's Speech? Okay.
Yeah, it's very fascinating.
Well, we also know that Moses also stuttered and stammered, and he was one of the greatest prophets ever on the planet. So, I mean, it's not going to hold you back if you stutter or stammer. It's just going to be a challenge that somehow you'll overcome, whether it is having a brother to help speak for you.
Yeah, that's what. And also, I would like to say, okay, I started with this, and it looks like a foreign language, but we should be clear that we don't have to be stuck with this all meanings and influences. We should just enjoy, and we just will follow our inner voice, and we must walk our body, mind, spirit journey, the path we have chosen, and we must know. I'm just sharing this from my own experience, and I was told to not say must, and convince people. I do not. I just want to say, everybody that approaches us as homeopaths or for astrology or any other kind of alternative therapy, it's a person that we both get attracted somehow, and I always learn from that person. I just don't look at that person, he's sick. I don't like actually the word patient, because that person is not sick. There is just a challenge, like it happened in my life, and I'm so grateful, because I was told in maybe 10 or 20 years I should be probably completely paralyzed, and my intelligence and everything will be not damaged, but I should take this pills till the rest of my life, and I must.
Maybe we should have heard your personal story, and that would have been a great show, because it sounds like you overcame a tremendous amount of challenge in your life from the medical community and
Yes,
found the alternative road.
Yes, and also astrology, holistic astrology. That's we actually are establishing a sunlight astrology, because it represents the power of the star of sun, and also exposing ourselves, knowing how to take the gifts and the seeds from the sun, changes our DNA. And if you guys, colleagues and friends and all you, I just want to tell you that it's amazing how it just brings us to life, because light is just life, and the darkness or the dark is nothing else but just the other part, and we just kind of go in and out and don't have to be afraid. And I meant to share more things, and I just start with this, and I hope we'll meet again.
Thank you so much. I think that we covered a lot of themes of darkness and light, the sun and the moon, their energy and their power, the fact that we are empowered, not fated by the planets, but that we do have free will. I think that is, for me, it's my most important message.
Yes,
that we can learn about these influences, in these astral influences, but we are our own unique soul energy.
Yes, and the last thing, just want to say, because the reason of stammering is not really clear out of the scientific field. And as a person that I really believe, working for so many years with autistic and children with problems, that this is probably part of the immunization long-term side effects, because this is also controlling the intelligence of our vital force. That's why it's a knowledge. It's also to enjoy the beauty of the planets and everything that happens, but to know that we are the ones in charge. And I think this is the last slide. If you show the last slide.
Yeah, I think what we could look is slide number 36. It says, we are the ones to get in charge of our own lives without diseases, living the beauty inside and outside in love and harmony with ourselves. That's how the sun awoke the idea in me for sunlight well-being. And then we have the next slide, 38. Knowledge is power. That's your message.
Yes.
The services provided. So you have sunlight well-being. That's where people can find you. And there are no incurable diseases. I really love that. Just incurable people.
And it's this is my experience. And I know this is working. And it's a matter of personal choice, because if you want to stay in the role of being sick, it's personal choice.
Okay, so if you want to stay sick, that's your choice. Maybe it's giving you some kind of a comfort or coping mechanism. I want to let folks know about the upcoming shows, and I want to thank Amnon for being there in Raleigh, North Carolina with us, working all the programming. I want to thank you, Senya, for all of your preparation and your time and your knowledge. On March 11th, we have a tentative schedule for Dr. Navneet Badani on depression in children. He's a psychologist and a homeopath, very well known in India. March 18th is the AIM program. This is about energetic balancing. And then we're going to have like a break unless I have a sunlight moment and I decide to go ahead. But on March 25th, there's Passover, and April 1st is Easter. These are the holidays. March 21 is the equinox, I believe, spring equinox. So that's going to be a momentous planetary occasion. It's my daughter's birthday, and I wish her happy birthday. April 8th, I'm very excited. Renita Herman, who works with the veterans and the soldiers of war. The New York Times came out with a report just yesterday that there are more suicides than deaths. They're rising exponentially every year from these veterans of war. PTSD, trauma, and traumatic brain injury. So you can imagine how much homeopathy can really help them. On the upcoming show this week, Wednesday at 10:30 a.m., Dr. Adil Chimtalawala Kasim. I haven't gotten a PowerPoint from him, and we have been talking about rashes lately. I think he might be giving us some new information going back to the cancer repertory and learning about all of the rubrics in the chest chapter of Kent. Thursday at 1 p.m., we are now on Freedomizer Radio, partnering with them. Alan Phillips, attorney at law, will keep us up to date on vaccines and your rights in America. At 2:30, I also will be talking about emotional stress and homeopathy. Lots to learn about that. And I'm just going to say thank you so much for everybody who has been with us over the course of, we've been running the show over a year maybe. And all the archives are ready. Amnon, do you want to say a couple of words?
I just want to add to this. You were talking about the PTSD. Wednesday night,
okay,
the 6th, in 2 days, on Julie's Reawaken Your Brilliance, there's going to be a doctor and a parent of a vet. And they're going to be talking about how it's the vets and active duty military personnel are being treated with Seroquel, something like that. That
lots
is
of different drugs.
Yeah, that are being mistreated, and it's I've already got a lot of feedback from a lot of military people that are actually going to listen. So it should be a good show.
Excellent. And I did a series last year with Dr. Christina Chambreau. It is on Homeopathy World Community, all about the military pets. They also have traumatized, even though they're well trained, and there's a certain kind of breed of dog that they bring into the military because of the way they can deal with trauma, can deal with loud noise, can deal with bomb blasts and shelling and stuff. Still, these dogs are traumatized. And so you can find all of those shows on Homeopathy World Community. I want to thank you again and wishing you lots of love, peace, and a great tribute to Kavi for hanging in there with us in the heavens. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays 9 a.m. till noon. Carrie's Psychic Cafe with Carrie Silkowski, Sundays 8 till 9 p.m. Health In with Debbie Bruck, Mondays 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays 8 till 9 p.m. One Chic Mama with Mary Michelle, Wednesdays 4 till 5 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by thatvidblasterguy.com, carolinaapparel.com, and deltaforce.net.